Radio, coming with one of our interviews for a Free and Fresh Friday. We have a special guest in the building. We have the legend, the one and only ER the Star from Crave, Lingerie, also from Pretty Ricky. Nowadays, he goes as Emanuel. Is that right?
Emanuel Deanda.
All right. Put some respect on that Deanda.
Absolutely.
How you feeling?
Oh man, I'm feeling pretty good, man. Just a little bit under the weather. So if you hear me sniffing a little bit, I done caught a little summer cold, man. I'm like, I catch a little summer cold, man. I'm gonna get fired on my day off. Come on, man. Kind of stuff is going on, but yeah, it just got a little congestion. But I'm other than that, man, I feel great. Just blessed, man, ready to go.
Okay. Yeah, you know the summer cold, that can mean a whole different meaning. They want to check everything now.
Oh man, you already know the way these tests going, man. Everything turning up positive. I heard somebody tested the mango and it was positive.
Oh wow.
They also tested the cow. The cow was positive. I'm like, man, everything's positive. But yeah, man. I don't know. Like I said, I feel pretty good. So for the most part, so blessings. I feel like I'm coming out of it, but yeah, man, I'm good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, we know that you've been in the industry and around for some time, but for those who don't know you, let's kind of go into the whole story. Now, you're from Pittsburgh,
Mhm.
over from the east side. Is that right?
That's right. East Side, born in Homewood, right on Bennett Street.
Okay. Now,
Yeah.
for those who don't know about Pittsburgh, tell us about Homewood.
Oh man, Homewood is a historical area in Pittsburgh, man. It's just the home of a lot of black people. You know what I mean? There's a lot of rich history there. I mean, I know some years back, it was definitely a lot of some white folks was definitely living in that area. I think some Italian folks and all that. They was living in that area for a while. This goes all the way back to George Westinghouse High School. Um, when they used to be called the Silver Lakers. Before they were called Bulldogs. So, it was really a white area. But some years come down the road, you already know, probably around the 50s and 60s, black folks start coming on in there. And yeah, I mean, it's a very historical place. I think it was once named as one of the most dangerous neighborhoods in America at one point. They did a whole expose going about it. You know what I'm saying? Homewood's very historical, man. And a lot of great people have, come through there, lived in Homewood. Attended George Westinghouse High School, which is very historical. Shout out to Westinghouse. Man, Homewood got a rich history.
Now, I've heard a lot about that history of Homewood. I actually grew up there myself, and it's surprising when you actually look into it. You had said something about how it was one of the most dangerous places in America. How you think we got there?
I mean, there's a number of things to make it get there. You know what I mean? Just being disenfranchised, number one. It's not hard to you know kind of put any people in a situation when you're like that when you're disenfranchised. Um, Once you oppress the people a certain way, then you can kind of almost do what you want with them. With the people in that neighborhood, and that's been going on for a long time. And we're even seeing gentrification start to push its way through and up into Homewood. They're trying, they're making attempts. What I'm saying? It's going down. So it's like, you know, we just got to make sure that we are the curators of our history as much as we possibly can be. You know.
Okay. Well, I mean, you're a part of that history. Now, you ended up in other parts of the city of Pittsburgh, also, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Like I said, born in Homewood. That that the little White House still right on the corner, right there on Bennett Street. Um, Probably left there right like around maybe when I was about 8 or 9. We uprooted and moved over to Oakland. Oakland's kind of it's still east, but it's almost like southeast, but it's still east. You know what I mean? But yeah, we moved right over there to Oakland and spent some time there. Up on through my high school years. And we definitely kind of stuck around on the east side, yeah, Oakland. I think after Oakland, we kind of uprooted again and slid on over to what is it? Shady Side. Yeah.
Okay. Now Oakland, that's interesting. I believe that in Oakland there were things like the colleges, University of Pittsburgh, CMU, right?
Yeah, definitely Oakland. You know what I mean? You definitely have CMU. You have Pitt, University of Pittsburgh. You know, and then you have the high schools. You had what is it? Oakland Catholic, and then Central Catholic. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, then you had Shinley High School. You know what I'm saying? I attended Shinley High School for at least 2 years as well. You know what I mean? So there was a lot of just culture. I mean, there's still a lot of culture over there. You know, usually from the places that I named. Man, Oakland is it's
Okay.
popping. Yeah, yeah.
Now you were coming up in a interesting time over in that 80s period. You know, that's a
Mhm.
time where there was a lot of change. Tell me about how that was growing up in the 80s.
Man, the '80s was great, man. This was during the time when you know imagination and creativity was at an all-time high, especially you know just visually, artistically, musically as well. Everything all the way across the board, movies, everything. Man, it was just this was pre-internet. You know what I'm saying? So this was during the times when you know we had to you know come up out of this brain and be as creative as possible. You know what I mean? The internet makes a lot of things really easy nowadays and just really quick, kind of a really quick snap to kind of thing. But you know, like I said, pre-internet these days in the '80s were some creative times, man. You had to be really creative and just you know really dig into your imagination and try to you know come up with some of the best ideas possible.
Okay, now if you were coming up now, you know, let's say right now you're 10 years old, and with everything that we have right now, how do you think things would be different?
Oh man, I would be up to speed. I'm 10 years old right now. Man, please, I'd be wow. I would make my other 10-year-old self look like a crazy person. I don't know, man. You know, these kids just have access to, I mean, they have the world right in the palm of their hands. So I can just imagine, you know, just how up to speed I would be at 10 years old. I'd probably be able to, you know, start my own business right online, you know what I mean? And just, you know, do a lot of things at 10 years old. Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, let's talk about when you were, you know, a child coming up, because I see that you're in the music industry. Is that something you were into as a child or older?
As a child, I was always around music. You know what I mean? My parents were really um, definitely fans of music. My father, he was a former singer that was kind of in the local circuit. You know, he used to perform down at the Crawford Grill and all of that on the hill. You know what I mean? My mom used to tell me tales of my dad, you know, wearing these, you know, full length fur coats. You know, he'd get on stage with this outfit, you know, hair all slicked up. You know what I'm saying? He'd have like two female singers, you know what I'm saying, flanking him side by on each side, and he'd get up there and perform. So, you know, it's in my blood as far as that goes. My daddy was definitely he started the whole thing. And plus, my mama, she was really cool. We grew up in a Jehovah's Witness household. You know, what I mean, she still kind of like stay connected to you know her secular side. You know what I mean? She still had records and 8 tracks, cassette tapes of um, you know all of the popular singers and artists that she grew up you know loving. So you know when she had that record player, I remember she had a big old chest record player. We would lift up the lid, go up in there, and you know put the record on the needle, and you know put the needle on the record and all that, and play the record, and play 8 tracks. That was my introduction. So you know I used to be able to get to see you know 12-inch full length albums. You know what I'm saying, even 45s. You know what I'm saying, learning how to play 45s on the record player. This was all my introduction to the arts, to music. Man, it was a great wonderful introduction.
Yeah, and that was a great time. Did did she have the one that was the long chest that looked like a I don't know, almost like a dresser.
Yeah, man, it was like a dresser in the middle of the living room. It's like, man, what is this? If you didn't know what this was from this time, like if kids was to see this nowadays, they think they could put their shoes and socks and drawers in this thing. But like, not a minute, man, you gotta lift this thing up. This is an actual musical piece.
Yeah, and that's awesome. I remember just kind of playing around those things, not really knowing what it actually was. So one day I just opened the little top. Now
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
coming up, you know, in that Jehovah's Witness household, I guess were you allowed to do a lot as far as like the music scene or like were you in the choir or anything like that?
Well, a lot of that, was considered worldly, at the time. We weren't really allowed to participate in any of those things, especially if it involved, being around a lot of our peers in a particular situation doing worldly things. They thought that, those worldly things were going to, influence us in a negative way. So in order for us to have fun and be like, man, I want to get involved, shoot, I'm a singing in the choir. You know what I mean? In order for that to happen, we had to just go and sneak and do it. You know what I'm saying? I remember being in middle school, we weren't allowed to, be on sports teams and all of that. And, I used to tell my mama, like, look, I'm staying after school so I could try to work on my academics. I need to get better at math and reading and all that. She's all for that. But little does she know, I'm starting small forward on the basketball team. You know what I'm saying? I'm having wrestling matches. I'm winning wrestling matches and stuff on the wrestling team. Like she had no clue. You know what I'm saying? I'm doing all this stuff and she had no idea. So, I ain't have no support, as far as family and, mom and dad in the stands coming to games or nothing. But, for me it was just extreme fun because I was like, man, I get to go on and just, still do this. She don't know nothing about it, she ain't gonna stop me. All right, cool. I'm gonna keep going. It's crazy.
Well, yeah, and as far as on the sports end, I mean, it must have worked out. The
Yeah.
school set. I heard
Yeah,
that,
yeah.
I heard you had a little bit of success in the sports arena.
Oh yeah, man. I had a good time playing sports. Like I said, when I was in middle school, um, played on the basketball team. Shout out to Coach Khan. He went on to have a great career in high school at Peabody. Um, but yeah, I was having a great time playing sports, man. Because that's what we did in the neighborhood. We played basketball, baseball, football. Right on the concrete, hardcore. You know what I'm saying? And we took that to organized sports when we got to school. And when I got to high school, I ended up really, really doing a deep dive into football. And playing a couple years for Shenley. Got my lesson when I was there because we got tore up by Westinghouse when I went there. So I was like, man, I ended up transferring to Westinghouse. I'm like, all right, now I'm with the big dogs. You know what I'm saying? And then I ended up losing to my former team, Shenley, when I got to Westinghouse. I'm like, man, this is crazy. This is keep flip flopping. But I ended up experiencing winning a championship at Westinghouse. That was a big part for me, being able to go to a championship game and actually win, and hoist that trophy and see what that feels like, and go to the state playoffs and all that. So definitely had some success. Shout out to Westinghouse High School, the alma mater, dogs for life.
Right.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Speaking of that, I mean, they even had a name for you. Heard they called you War Dog.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Where'd that come from?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Shout out to Coach Still Dill. Shout out to Coach Dillard. Man, this guy, wow. So he had a nickname for a lot of people. This might have been his way to kind of remember us. Maybe he ain't really remember our names, but yeah, man. I remember one day he just kind of stepped to me. He seen how hard I worked. I was trying to really work, and, get my respect. I'm just new dude coming over from Shenley High School. Yeah, man, punks. We kill Shenley. You know what I'm saying? Type stuff. So I'm trying to get my respect. He seen how hard I work, and he was just like, you know what? Come here, you little punk. You know what I'm saying? He used to talk crazy to him. He used to be like, man, he was just like, yo, from now on, he was like, what are you? Who are you? I guess he seen like my hair and I was curly and stuff. He was like, what are you? And I was like, yeah, my name's Emanuel. I'm from, from Oakland. I'm Mexican. My dad's Mexican. He was like, he's like, shut up. From now on, your name is Mexican War Dog. And I was just like, all right. I ain't had no choice. I was just like, all right, cool. Mexican War Dog. You know what I'm saying? Even got it tatted on me. You know what I'm saying? War Dog. You can see it. Hey.
Yeah, that's
yeah.
So, wow. Now that's interesting. I've heard some stories about your former, football coach, and you know, some good, some great, and some interesting.
Oh yeah.
But you'd probably agree that sports now compared to then, for kids, it's probably a whole different time, right?
Oh man, big time. A lot of I would say a lot of just precautions are taken out more nowadays. I think we got a lot of information and just knowledge about how to handle certain things. Because back in the day, I think we were still trying to figure things out. You know what I mean? Like cats was probably out there with multiple concussions and just they ain't know how to really diagnose it. All kind of craziness was probably going on, and just it was a different way of showing masculinity and toughness. I always tell everybody, I probably became a man down there on the field at Westinghouse High School. To be honest, that's how tough and rough the journey was. But yeah, man, definitely a different time back then, man. Coaches and everything, they got away with a lot. With how they talked to us, how they dealt with us, handled us. You know what I'm saying? It was a real time, but they were raising, some solid young men, and I can testify to the fact that, out of that whole bunch, what I'm saying, there's a lot of solid young men that came up out of that whole bunch that are still impacting the community positively to this day.
Wow. And that's always a great thing when you're talking about legacy and building and going beyond. I've seen some of the things that you're doing. Even with the kids today. It seems you have a lot of involvement with them. What are I guess what are some things out of your time growing up, or whether from sports or from music, what are some of the things that you try to impart to them?
I try to just, give them my experiences. A lot of times when I go into these classrooms, I get a chance to tell my story, you know what I mean, basically from top to bottom, of how I became an artist and went through my trials as a teenager going through high school and all of that, things that they can possibly relate to today. You know what I mean? I get to tell them my story. That's the biggest thing. Just showing them like, hey man, I come from the hood too. You know what I'm saying? We was down too. You know what I mean? We ain't have much. We dealt with gang violence too. We dealt with influence and peer pressure as well. So, just making that connection with the youth, being able to let them know like, hey man, look, I come from the same kind of situations and circumstances, and I persevered. I pushed through, in spite of. So you can do the same kinds of things. And the kids, the more that they're able to see that and see that example, and actually see it that it actually happened. They can look it up. They can Google it. They can look at YouTube videos. I think that's the ultimate thing for these youth.
Yeah, and whenever there's those type of bridges, I think that's definitely huge. I don't know if this is coincidence. One of the things you and the late great Michael Jackson have in common, not only the Jehovah's Witness background,
Mm-hmm.
but I believe that you guys played the same character at some point, right?
Oh yeah, man. Wow. Yeah, he did play the Cowardly Lion, didn't he?
I, I, I want to make sure he wasn't the Scarecrow, right? Or was he the Lion?
I think he might have been. He might have been the Scarecrow. Well, we were in line. We were in line with the same movie. We could say that. I was actually trying to, like, well, we were as third graders trying to emulate the characters from The Wiz. Yeah, in third grade they put on a play, and we were supposed to get up there and do what we do, and I had my whole lion suit on. My mom made me a lion suit, for The Wiz. And yeah, this was my first time really, doing an actual performance in front of people. So that was actually my very first experience on stage live in front of people, performing art. Crazy.
Wow. You said your mom put that together for you?
Yeah, this was back in the day when, what I'm saying, like women of the house, it was real important for them to at least have the skill of being a seamstress, at least having like a sewing machine. Like, back in the day, this was when sewing machines was popping, you probably had a sewing machine like they had laptops in the crib nowadays. You know what I'm saying? Like, you better have your sewing machine, you know what I mean? Be able to sew some stuff. But yeah, my mom was into the whole seamstress game, and she was like, all right, I got it. I'll take care of it and put together this lion suit.
Man.
I can't guarantee you the quality of the lion suit, but it worked.
Well, I wish I knew you as a kid. There was a lot of times I needed patches and things like that.
Oh man, that was mom. She used to always do that to our jeans. Our jeans gets messed up. Man, I remember she had the patches on the knees and like, oh man, look at this. Crazy, man. Yeah, we would have hooked you up with all kind of patches.
Oh man, well, you figured back during that time when you were growing up, kids were doing a whole lot more as far as on the active side, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
In fact, I can't tell you who I got my information from, but I heard that there were areas where you were jumping off of 10-foot walls and things like that, you know,
Man,
in Oakland.
10-foot walls. I don't know. We were doing a lot, man. We were active all around the area. We were some serious. Even my little brother, he was doing that too, like jumping off the wall, 10-foot wall. We was doing some crazy stuff. We were so athletic and just so active, man. Just all day. I know when we came in the house, we smelled like all kind of outside, man. Because we was just, like I said, we were doing adventurous stuff like that, jumping off walls, playing, release the den, and chasing each other all through the neighborhood and all that kind of craziness, man. Like, and then playing sports all day. Crazy, man. Yeah, yeah.
Now, we're going to fast forward a little. Now,
Yeah.
this is what I found was interesting. So, you're in high school, and you said you were at Shenley for 2 years, and somehow you got the Weston House. How did that happen?
Well, after my sophomore year, I ended up having to go to summer school every year because I was terrible at math. So, it was just like one of those things. Like, all right, I'm just going and get used to it, get ready for summer school. So, that year in particular, I think it was early '90s, man. Yeah, it was just crazy, man. Because yeah, the gang violence was really popping off heavy. And our side that we was really kicking it with South Oakland, they was representing Crips. So you can already tell that we was influenced by them. You know what I'm saying? We were out there wearing our blue dickies. We was wearing full blue dicky outfits at a pretty much blood dominant school. So, the Hill was right next to Shenley. So, I already know Shenley and the Hill district was representing blood gang. So that was a serious thing. So yeah, a lot of violence went down at this particular summer school year. A lot of fighting. What I'm saying? A little gun violence that popped off. I remember there was one big time just confrontation between the Bloods and the Crips after school had let out, and it was just I think somebody had got shot. Man, it was a lot.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, and that's a good thing that you were able to, of course, put yourself in a position to to get away from the controversy. I mean, we would have missed out on a lot. Now Weston
Yeah.
House, I've been there for a brief amount of time, and I remember there was always this huge emphasis on the music side, and when you do it, you do it. Like the Westinghouse band, it was no joke. Their choir, it was no joke. Did you find yourself involved with either of those at all?
Oh man, absolutely. Anytime I tell my story, I always say to people going to Westinghouse during that time was like attending an HBCU. It was crazy, like just the culture that was just coming up out of that school was just next level. It was madness. It was like night and day going from Shinley to Westinghouse. At Westinghouse, I was just embraced. I felt like I was at home. I'm around all this black culture, all these black people, this black energy. This melanin was just bouncing off the walls. And man, that Westinghouse High Step and Marching Band, they stepped and marched like nobody's business. I mean, I felt like Grambling stayed out there, man. That drum major was out there high stepping and just doing all kind of just, oh man, the drum cadence was just black. It was just soul, man. It was a bunch of soul and spirit, man. Like shout out to Westinghouse High School in the 90s, man. It was popping.
Mm, yeah. Now, how did you? Because you were, and I believe that you say that you're still always a part of it, but you guys had a pretty successful band, R&B group in Pittsburgh, Crave.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Crave. So it goes back to Westinghouse High School because I was definitely a part of the choir at Westinghouse. So I did both choir, playing football and all of that, and being part of the choir was a great experience because I got to understand what leadership was. I was part of the tenors, so I was lead tenor, and I got to do some. I got to lead the choir in certain songs too. So being able to lead afforded me the opportunity to understand the importance of leadership. Being able to do that kind of thing, it's just an awesome experience. Um, and the choir just afforded me the ability to be able to go out and actually travel, go from different places and perform in a concert choir. Actually hit the road and we did a performance in Washington D.C. Um, just getting that experience alone, man, just that culture. It afforded me to meet my friends. My friends from Crave, they were both in the choir, with me, and we had that experience together. And we knew about each other's vocals. We knew that yeah, we was in that choir singing, and that's how we kind of linked up. After we got the part, we actually went out and for the part of what was on the Temptations movie, we auditioned and we got a part, singing on a street corner in the movie. After we did that, everybody's like, man, we got to do more. Let's do something else. So, that's how we kind of came together and did Crave. Like I said, we knew each other from the choir, Westinghouse High, and that's pretty much how, Crave got formed.
Okay. Now, what you guys are in the movie?
Yeah. Me and my boys made a appearance. Well, my boys did. I actually had scheduled my honeymoon at the time. You know what I'm saying? So my honeymoon had kind of intersected during the time that they were actually shooting the movie. So, I was kind of broke up about it. I'm like, oh man, how could I mess that up? You know what I mean? And I'm a choir teacher. She got on the phone and said, look, man, it's all good. It's a missed opportunity, but you'll get others. You know what I mean? All this other stuff. But yeah, my boys we auditioned for this part, got the part, blew them away at the audition. And, they were in the part in the movie. If you go back and watch, they're at the part when they're singing on the street corner. And that's when they meet Blue, and Blue was like on the street corner singing with my boys. My boys was on the corner singing this song. And, that's when Otis was like, man, more importantly, we need him. You know what I mean? So it's talking about Blue. So if you go back and watch the movie, you'll see a bit of Westinghouse High School history right on screen because we brought the whole Westinghouse kind of spirit to it. You see the guys on the sidelines or in the movie clapping like this. That's how we used to be on the sidelines of Westinghouse. We brought that whole, Westinghouse spirit to the big screen. Yeah, go back and check it out.
You guys were rocking talent shows and things like that, right?
Yeah. It was funny because after we did the movie, like I said, we formed Crave, and we wanted to link up and do some more things. And I remember I was working at my job. This was when KFC was open in Garfield. My boy that came over there, and I was shift supervisor. He came in and he was like, "Man, we got to do some more stuff, man. We got to perform." And he told me about Whammo. Whammo. This was back in the day when Whammo, the real Whammo, was actually out in the neighborhood doing remotes. You know what I'm saying? And they were really involved in the community, and they used to annually put on a talent show. And my boy came in and was like, "Man, we got to register for this talent show. Check it out. Let's do it." Because the year before, to be honest, I had actually went out for the talent show as a solo artist. This was before I got with Crave. So the year before I had tried out and I didn't make the cut as a solo artist. So this kind of, this was kind of like divine order, set me on that path, right? So when my boy came in, he was like, "Let's do this talent show." So now I'm coming back with this group. And, we went in audition and they loved us. They put us in, man. And, we went and did the talent show. We won first place. We killed it. The crowd went crazy. The girls, it was mayhem. It was like pandemonium. We hit the stage. The girls loved us. And that's when we met up with our future manager, Big D. Shout out to Mean Street Entertainment. You know what I mean? It was just, man, like I said, divine order.
You guys were at Summer Jam a few times, right?
Yeah. As Crave had success, doing a lot of recording, a lot of performing around the city, getting a lot of accolades, attention, and popularity. As time went on, we definitely did summer jams. We actually had performed at 3 summer jams in a row. 3 in a row, pretty memorable stuff. I remember one of the summer jams we had performed, we was killing it. You know what I'm saying? Killed the stage, rocked it. And then I remember coming off stage as soon as I exited. Right at the edge of the stage was T.I. T.I. was right there waiting with his hand out. He was just like, "Yo, great show, King." And I'm like, "Man, shit, you the king, man." It was just crazy, man. It was a moment, man. Especially I'll never forget that moment, just shaking T.I.'s hand and just getting that validation. But it was the 3rd year in a row for that year that we actually, made some noise and got that buzz going.
What stage T.I. was this? Was this 8 syllables T.I.?
Oh man, you already know. He was, man. This was when T.I. was really on fire, man. Man, I remember sitting back on the side of the stage watching his performance just to get a little, more education on how to really, handle the stage. And man, this dude killed it, man. Like you talk about a shutdown, what I'm saying, performer, kind of just like he's a showstopper. But yeah, this is T.I. Definitely the intelligent, using big words, all that. Yeah.
I mean, that's his thing. I heard legend has it that he was waking up reading the dictionaries and things like that.
Hey man, but that's the kind of thing that you got to do as an artist. That's why I really respect the hip hop artists from back in the day. They not only did the gangster stuff, but it was also they also respected the craft. They also was like, man, you know what? I got to be smart. I got to really say something to be able to tango with the rest of these G's, the OGs in the game. You know what I'm saying? So that was the kind of thing as far as, how I took it. I was still taking it from a, educational standpoint. When I was coming up as a songwriter, I used to always read something. I used to always continuously keep my mind going. So I was always either have a book or a newspaper with me, and I would do that daily. And anytime I didn't understand a word, I had my little dictionary with me. I looked that word up, add it to my vocabulary, and keep it pushing. Yeah.
Nowadays, they probably won't even know what a dictionary is. Dictionary.com? Is that what you mean?
Man, a lot of these kids just got the application right on their phone. They don't even got to question it. It's just right there with them. Yeah.
Wow. Now, you guys, as a group with Crave, you guys did a lot also. A lot of firsts as far as on the records, right? I mean, on the radio.
Yeah, we had a lot of firsts at radio. There was just the fact that we had medium and power rotation as a local group. That was the first. We were kind of breaking records as far as record sales locally for an R&B group. We're the number one selling R&B group of all time. They used to have countdowns on the radio, like top 4 at 4, hot 8 at 8. You know, we were going #1. That was the first at radio. You know what I mean? Like we were just getting a lot of firsts, especially for a local group, because a lot of local groups weren't getting a lot of love, man. You know what I'm saying? It was a struggle to even get play on radio, and you know, shoot, shout out to management, Big D. You know, shout out to Lonnie Sykes. You know what I mean? They made some power moves for us to make sure that we stayed on radio. You know, they made sure Crave stayed up there on radio, man. Shout out to Main Street Entertainment.
Yeah, that's definitely huge. Um, and then later on, so how did you get involved with Pretty Ricky? How did that happen?
Oh man, it was just one of them situations, where Crave had, we had a bunch of success happening, getting some acknowledgments. The mayor had gave us a proclamation. Every year, July 21st was just passed. It's Crave Day and Main Street Entertainment Day in Pittsburgh. Um, just getting the key to the city. The mayor gave us the key to the city as well. Um, just getting a lot of a love, and just doing a lot of work around the city, getting our songs played. I had ended up writing a song called "Ask For It by Name," and that song had blew up. It had like took over as far as it was like a cult classic, like a local hit. And people still to this day come up to me like, "Yo, Ask For It by Name, Ask For It by Name, it's a jam." And Pretty Ricky had came to town one year. I think it was around 2006 or so, 2007, and they were on tour. It was them and Trey Songz, and it was like the Snowball tour. It was like a winter tour thing. I was them. Black Butterfly was with them too. And they came out, and every time they go to a radio station in any city, they ask who's the hottest local artist. That's how they either find talent or sign talent. You know what I mean? And they asked about us. They asked about it, and actually the DJ put it on to them. Was like, "Yo, you got to hear this local group. They got a song called Ask For It by Name." Shout out to DJ Code Red. He was the one to put them on to us. And they heard the song. They was like, "Yo, the boys dope. Tell them to get down here ASAP." And once we got down there, they gave us the opportunity to actually open up for them that night, to give us that kind of love and that kind of look in our city when we were popping and bubbling. You know what I'm saying? To be able to open up for like one of the hottest new groups out. You know what I'm saying? Hottest new artist, Trey Songz. I mean, that was a great look for us in the city. Crave, got shown some love. We did a show down at the Carnegie Music Hall in Oakland. Packed house. I mean, it was like a show that I'd never seen before. Pretty Ricky lit the whole stage up. It was banana, straight pandemonium. And they gave Crave a great look.
Wow.
Yeah. We started recording the album, and the album was really dope. We were getting ready to get pitched heavy to Atlantic Records. The deal was right there on the table. It was actually pitched. The actual deal was actually offered. You know what I mean? So, but a few things here happen there. You already know how the music industry is. There's always a story about this or that. But kind of like make the story kind of succinct. Yeah, Crave definitely had a legit opportunity to get signed to Atlantic Records through Blue Star Records with Pretty Ricky, but we ended up getting shelved for another group that they had on deck called Buttercream. So it was kind of a business situation that kind of went a different way. Once Crave was shelved, that was their opportunity to pull me out of the group and start me on the path of being a solo artist.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
you were going solo for some time. How did that come about?
Well, that was the original plan. I remember being at work one day, and I got a call on my cell, and I was just like, "Oh snap! I had to take this." You know what I mean? And they had hit me up because we had did a photo shoot right up here in Pittsburgh. We wanted to give them something to kind of just let them know that we're still working and we're still keeping focus and all that. So I remember I had gotten in super shape, man. I had lost a bunch of weight, and everybody was like, "Yo, we gotta get this photo shoot done." Did the photo shoot, sent them the pictures, and that's when I got the call, and it was just like, "Yo," because my boy was already down there. My boy Ambition was down there. He was already getting a chance and opportunity to be the lead singer for Pretty Ricky. And he called me. He was like, "Yo, these dudes just had like a 2-hour meeting about these pictures that they just sent, that y'all just sent." He was like, "Yo, they going crazy over you right now. Like, yo, man, just stay focused." So they hit me up and gave me an ultimatum. So basically, their ultimatum was, I could stay up in Pittsburgh, keep grinding with Pretty Ricky, but they wanted me as a solo artist. They wanted to pull me from the group and had me come down and start working on my solo career. So, I had a meeting with Crave, that day. You know what I mean? Shout out to Black Seas for being on the meeting call. Him and Big D sat down with me and Crave and kind of explained the situation and what we're getting ready to do. And it was kind of the precursor to me leaving the group and getting ready to head down to Florida to pursue my solo career, which was tough, bittersweet decision to make. But I had to make that decision. I felt at the time it was for the betterment of my group, for our, the betterment of our history, all of that. So I ended up, departing from the group and went down to Florida and started, the journey.
Now those relationships, I mean, you guys, when did that happen? You guys still keep y'all's relationships with the group, or how was that at that time?
Yeah, it was tough. It was a rough time. It wasn't easy. You know what I'm saying? We had got used to each other as far as being in a group and being a brotherhood. We wanted to continue that, but sometimes change is not an easy thing to deal with. There were some tough feelings. Communication could have been better, but we did what we did. I definitely tried to stay as cool and as close as possible, but especially when you're kind of in a situation where you're moving and you got to make changes and keep pushing and deliver. It gets kind of rough sometimes when you're dealing with your friends, and I'm quite sure that they wanted to be right down there with me, keep pushing and being a part of the music industry. I know that they wanted to be, and like I said, it was a real tough situation, but our friendship outlasted a lot of that. You know what I'm saying? So I'm thankful for that. I'm thankful for my boys, for my group Crave. You know what I'm saying? We're still brothers to this day. But it was challenging times. Not easy.
Yeah. That's definitely important, that type of bond, having that, being able to last over a lifetime. So glad to hear that, because it's not always like that.
Yeah. It's rough. It's rough, man. This industry is rough on people. This period is rough on artists, especially black artists. We go through it. Like Michael X said, you know what I'm saying, when the world gets cold, we get the flu. So, it's not easy.
Yeah, the late great Malcolm, and a lot we could
Shout out
learn.
to Michael. Yeah.
What was probably one of the biggest things that you probably seen learning from Malcolm X?
I think one of the biggest things I learned from Malcolm was just self-education. He kind of took the whole idea that Marcus Garvey kind of introduced to us, self-education, and just ran with that. You know what I mean? Like, he didn't have to go to a major university to be able to break down the English language, break down the English history, the U.S. history, and be able to make sense of our position here in the United States as Black Americans. I think Malcolm X was really, really influential. He showed and displayed a lot of bravery. He ended up darn near being alone at the, all the way to the very end, but he still stood on his principles, and he was just a solid man. That was a great example of a man. Just period. Yeah.
Wow. Well, speaking of self-education, a lot of artists, especially in the 90s and 2000s, have found themselves in a position of where the contracts weren't really favorable towards them in the long run.
Yeah.
Some ended up finding out, ways. You know, how was that from your point of view?
It was, it's a challenging time. Everybody was kind of like, you know, signing those same kind of deals. You know what I'm saying? That 360 deal era was the monster. You know what I'm saying? For a lot of artists, dealing with having to be in these deals and these contracts and these agreements. Um, it's a rough time. You know what I'm saying? I think from the mistakes that were made during those eras and those times, it was all of the education that, you know, these kids nowadays need, you know what I mean, and can pull from to be able to, you know, give them the correct example, knowing and understanding how to do the business. You know what I mean? That's the most important thing right now. Is just like having the education, knowing the business, you know, knowing the insides of it, and knowing how to navigate.
Right. Now, as you're out there, you know, you're down in Florida, you're taking care of business. What were some of the highlights of your time there with Pretty Ricky?
There's a lot of great highlights, man. I mean, just being able to record a professional album like that, you know what I mean? Just seeing just seeing those kinds of things, being able to just, you know, go to certain places, like going to 106 in Park, you know, 6 times, and you know what I mean? Just yeah, man. Just, you know, being at 106 in Park 6 times was amazing. Meeting the certain kind of people, doing songs with certain artists. Like, you know, I remember when we first got the vocals back for Snoop Dogg when he did the remix for our song Topless. Epic moment, you know what I mean? Like crazy. Doing songs with like Trick Daddy, Kiki Wyatt, actually meeting Kiki Wyatt when we were in Atlanta. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, shout out to Kiki Wyatt, she's amazing. Jumping on a remix with her, like singing with her alongside her was just like a blessing. Um, Doing a jam with H-Town and Jodeci, two of my favorite groups in the 90s. You know what I'm saying? Actually shooting a video and having that video be out there. And, you know what I mean? So Bone Thugs and Harmony, Jackie O, um, everybody, man. It was just a great experience.
Now, for, you know, most of these, you know, different artists in the industry, were they who they were on screen, or is it different people from your experience?
Oh man, I think everybody's a little bit different. Everybody's personality is a little different. Um, One executive from BET, she used to coordinate all of the award shows and everything for BET. We were at her house one time, and she was just like, um, "Meet your heroes from afar." You know, it's kind of dangerous when you meet people, you know, too close up. You know, you get to see them in certain situations that you normally wouldn't see them, and it's just like, man, it might ruin them for you, or I don't know. It's deep.
Wow, that's really, but a good lesson, you know, for a lot of people, even if they're not in the industry,
Mhm.
probably need to
Mhm.
know that. You know,
Yeah, man. I mean, you know, when you get out here, you know, a lot of people do a lot of hero worshiping, and you know that can get dangerous. You know, especially for you in your opinion about, you know, certain people that are like famous or whatever. I think the one thing that we kind of like make a mistake by doing is kind of putting them outside of the realm of being a human, humanity. A lot of people are just normal people, man. They just regular folks that done, you know, done hit it big, you know what I'm saying? And then they might have some real serious issues in life, or vices or whatever, that kind of bring them down to the level of, you know, a normal person or whatever the case may be. But you know, that's usually the problem with the perception of you know, superstars, or you know, big time people. You know, these, you know, a lot of these people are just regular folks out here. They just, you know, this television stuff that made them famous, man. You know, it's just it's man, it's serious. The internet and all this stuff, man. It's like the Wizard of Oz.
did you ever feel there was a time where you kind of changed, or how was that for you?
For me, I think I had to go through a growth period to understand what popularity and fame and um, all of that stuff entailed. You know, being in Hollywood and all that. You know, being around famous people. It could change your perception on how to, you know, be as far as like dealing with other people and all that. I think people should be able to change, but change in a positive way. Change in a way where it's like, okay, you know, I was living life a certain way, but now I'm doing something different. And on top of that, I understand business and professionalism. So, I think if you change and evolve in those areas, you know what I mean, that leads to, a lot of other great things. A lot of times people will change in the wrong ways that'll kind of like, maybe ruin relationships or, ruins people's perceptions of you, you know.
Right. Well, what's an example of a situation? Doesn't have to be relationship wise, but anything where you had to learn the hard way.
Hmm. Um, Learning the hard way. I don't know. I think it might have been maybe in business, just from doing business with certain people and not understanding how to do correct business to be able to protect yourself. I think as us as just even outside of being an artist, just entrepreneurs. Period. A lot of mistakes happen whenever you're you know running your own business or trying to be a business person. There are lessons to be learned, and a lot of times you might get knocked over the head a little bit, but there's an opportunity to learn from that experience in that situation to be able to bounce back, because now you've done a little research and you understand from a business perspective. you know hey, I can do better. Let me do better. Let me go ahead and actually educate myself. So yeah.
Wow. Yeah, absolutely.
Mhm.
And for a lot of people, you're watching that was probably one of the biggest things right there. A lot of people, the education end, that's definitely a big part there.
Mhm.
And it sounds like you did a lot of a lot of growing, a lot of learning. But
Yeah.
what would you say to that person? Grow, let's see, this would be about what 15 years ago, right? What would you say to your
Mhm.
15, fit yourself 15 years ago?
Just be careful. Keep reading, no matter who tries to discourage you from educating yourself on music business. Keep reading. Stay diligent. Be smart, and just be wise of the company that I keep. And also be careful with that friend word, that word friend and bro and all that stuff. Man, I would have definitely told myself to be careful about it, so definitely keep my eyes open and just you know like I always tell my kids and everybody else, youngins that I deal with, man, when you're dealing with human beings, be prepared for disappointment. You know what I mean? People will disappoint you, and that's the kind of thing that you got to be prepared for. And a lot of times we're not prepared for those kind of things, and signals get crossed. We tend to feel like friends shouldn't do us wrong, but those be the kind of situations where you end up learning, like, man, be your own people. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of times in these situations, you just got to really just be mindful, and be diligent. Do the due diligence as far as education and learning about business, and um, just don't take it so personal. Yeah,
Right. So
yeah,
nowadays you're a solo artist, right?
yeah, yeah, yeah. Solo, yes, sir.
Okay. And also I believe crave for life, right?
Oh yeah, crave forever. You know what I'm saying? One night only, but crave forever.
Okay. But so what type of because I believe you have some projects you're working on, right?
Oh yeah, I definitely have some personal projects I'm doing. You know what I'm saying? I'm just putting some good vibrations out into the universe right now. Just kind of testing the waters and seeing what's good. Trying to make a little comeback of my own. Coming back, stepping back out as a not only as a singer and an artist, but as a music producer. So I've been behind a lot of the production for my own records. My lead single, "Good Good," I was the main. I was the main inspiration on the music production on that one. Shout out to the guys that came in and helped me out on that one. But yeah, yeah, this is like my music production debut, um, and I think it's going to be a really really cool thing. Like I said, shout out to them boys, shout out to Jay the writer, David Live. You know what I'm saying, Jack the producer. A lot of the guys that have been kind of influential and helpful towards me putting out this music. But like I said, yeah, I've just been dropping singles. Good Goods out. Interlude is my other single that's out. Hopefully, I'll be able to drop an EP soon. I'm trying to get this EP project popping off. Hopefully, I can get it out soon.
Okay. Now where can we find your current work?
My current work, you can actually find it anywhere that music is downloaded or downloadable. On any one of your favorite platforms. It's available under my official name, Emanuel Deanda, Emanuel, Emanuel Deanda, Deanda. You know what I'm saying? I know it sounds a little funny, but hey, it's not that hard to spell. You can find me, look me up, Emanuel Deanda. It's basically my name on most of my social platforms. On IG, it's at Emanuel Deanda 808. On Twitter, it's at Emanuel Deanda. Facebook is Manny Emanuel Deanda. I'm definitely findable. I am searchable. Look me up. Get at me. Emanuel Deanda, brand new music. Good, good. You know what I'm saying? Good with a T at the end. Good, good. It's available now. Emanuel Deanda. And also Interlude, my new single. So, every platform you can go find it.
Okay. We look forward to definitely checking it out. I actually was blessed to get a sneak peek, so that definitely
Yes, sir.
great stuff there. I would recommend anyone to go out, want to hear some good on field music. Them days when you can just sit back and vibe.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. I definitely want to bring that back, man. I think R&B needs it. I think R&B is definitely on a great comeback trail. Shout out to the legends that are, advocating and pushing for R&B music to make that comeback that it needs. R&B deserves the respect, and all the respect and love. R&B is the catalyst behind all of this, for real, for real. Shout out to R&B music and soul music. Let's not forget, you know what I'm saying? Let us not be the ones that are forgotten. We are not the forgotten. We are still here representing this craft. R&B music is forever. A lot of people still love R&B music, and I would love to be one of the representatives to help contribute some great music to the R&B history.
Okay. And
So,
for anyone who, because you had mentioned on the production end,
yeah.
for anyone who's looking to reach out to you, get help with anything, or anything on the music end,
Hmm.
how would they connect with you?
Yeah, definitely. If you want to get at me, you can hit me up on any one of my social sites. You already know you can hit the DM or the inbox, or you can just hit me directly on my email. That's 808 music. But when you spell music, it's with two C's. You know what I'm saying? My bad. I didn't mean to throw up the Crip sign, but I'm just trying to I'm not a Crip. I'm just trying to show you guys two C's. So 808 music with two C's at gmail.com. Hit your boy up. You know what I mean? That's where you can book me for shows. You can book me for a production. You can book me as a singer to sing hooks, to write, to even educate your child. I do a lot of stuff. So 808 music with two C's at gmail.com. That's where you can hit me up about some of the production that I have and all of that.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we have Emanuel Deanda, you know, the legend himself, and
Oh, man. I appreciate you.
yep, appreciate you.
Mhm. Yes, sir.